yeah, if you can find them, you can collect them. And there you can see it. I think that's the Deuce and a half. Yeah, this model is actually from 2001, so pretty old model. That's probably why the prices have really gone up. So they're the other ones that were on sale. Don't know how much they're going to be. The Mutt, Alan has a real one of those. I actually sat in it last year. He loves his Vietnam stuff. Patrol boat, I wouldn't mind the Brown Water Navy. Yeah, I'd love one of them. I'd love the Huey, my favourite helicopter. And as I say, I wouldn't mind the M113. Not a big fan of them, but they really do look good in 150 scale. So, yeah, if you can find them, you can collect them. So, I've found with a lot of Corgi products from the early 2000s, you seem to get a little booklet, which is... So this basically gives the history of the truck. These are also gun trucks in Vietnam as well. I've only got one model of them because they're not really that popular and they're very rare unless you make one of them. Now Vietnam was actually the first war against the truck, against the supply convoy. That's what they said. Even though I would actually argue, I'd say it was World War II. But the Viet Cong actually knew how to try and stop the Americans in the tracks. Just really nice blueprint, that, or green print. Really nice. These were what were known as task trucks. So these are of course not gun trucks, these are the normal supply trucks. But most of their drivers were just itching to get on the gun truck detachments. So there would usually be 10 of these, and then every 11th truck would be a gun truck. And there we are, probably in the late 60s. Supply convoy. Now these were very famous because these were made from around 1953. There were just thousands and thousands of them made. And what I really like about this box is of course when it's on the shop shelf, then you can just open it. Got the window in there to see exactly what you're buying. And I think that's really good of Corgi, that, because most brands, they don't give you that pleasure in a way to say, oh, this is what you're buying. So that's really nice, that. Plus, like I said earlier, you've got all of this explaining about it. So as a collector, that's really nice, that. You can see what you're buying, you can see the level of detail. You can be like, that's worth the money. How much were these when they came out? 2001? I have no idea, because I was only 6. So I have absolutely no idea, but... yeah, pretty expensive, I presume. Probably around £45–50. I wouldn't be surprised. So these things, as I say, are not cheap nowadays. They're from 2001, so you could say they're considered classics. But yeah, look at the level of detail on that. I love how Corgi do that dust on the windscreen. They're just second to none, aren't they? Nice camouflage as well. Not too sure what type of camouflage it is. Maybe it's one of these camouflages, you know, hippie days, rock and roll, you know what I mean, the late 60s. What I do like, though, is how they're actually down on the window as well. That is something different. It's like a load of mud just shot up. And start talking about mud, look at all the sprayed detail on here. Clearly looks like a truck when it's just been washed and it's been in camp. Got a little bit of mud on. Nothing like on the trails, I guess. I thought it were going to roll off the shelf then. I didn't think it was going to stop. A US Marine Corps there, the numbers, and of course its detachment there. Really nice to see. Lots of mud here on these mud flaps. Really, really nice. That's a really nice detail. This is not a 5 out of 5 model. This is a 10 out of 10 model. Because again, I've got nothing else like it. And then if we look at the bed, a lot of sandbags there, shipping them out to one of the outstations, to one of the forward bases. And another reason why is because the troops would sit on them. Now remember, these are soft skin trucks, these are not armoured. Even the gun trucks only had a bit of armour around the cab, so they were still relatively in effect soft skins, weren't they? So the infantry would put these on the floor, and then if a mine detonated underneath, more than likely it wouldn't cause them much harm, as they thought. At least it'd keep the butt intact anyway, I guess. And they'd just be thrown upwards and possibly even out to the sides if they didn't have these on. I'm sure all of the trucks had these on for carrying infantry. But yeah, that's another reason why they are in there. And I love I love at the paint, as in, you know, it's wet mud and they just piled them in there and some of the mud went on the floor. I think that's a really good detail. Again, Corgi really go to town on their detail, especially on their mud, in my opinion. So even though this is just a task truck, so supply truck, this still had the 50 caliber machine gun up there. As you can see, it does have a bit of detail inside the cab, but you won't be able to see that with all the dirt and mud on the windows. So yeah, why have this 50 cal? It's quite simple. This would have been the convoy leader. So what would happen, and I'm talking in World War II, the first truck would have a 50 caliber. Now in Vietnam, you would have a gun truck, then you would have this truck. This could even be, I don't think this would have been the commander's truck. I think he would have had a mutt with a wireless operator and all that, maybe a medic. But this would be the second truck in the convoy, and that's why it has a ring mount and a 50 caliber machine gun, so of course it can protect itself. More than likely all the other trucks would have been unarmed. They would have of course had their M16s, but more than likely they would have been unarmed, and this was probably the only truck, apart from the gun trucks, that was armed. A fantastic model, 150 scale. It is heavy, as most Corgis are, and yeah, just fantastic. And what I love about this is Corgi could have chose just to do the fighting vehicles. They could have left this out, because it is just a soft skin. I mean, who would purchase this? The only reason why they probably have it in the range is, number one, Vietnam vets would purchase it. It's of course part of the collection, but more to the point, look at what its role was in Vietnam and how crucial these were. So that's probably why they put it in the range. And I think it's absolutely swell, to be honest. I'm really glad that they put it in the range. A hell of a lot of detail. Again, the unit marking on the door, and you can tell that's a door. I love the actual cutouts here for it. Wing mirrors, it didn't actually come with any. I searched in this pack and it didn't come with any, which is a shame. But, you know, when it's on the shelf, would you notice? Probably not. You're not really looking at that. Other level of detail that I've just noticed, spade here. That's really nice. I think that should be a bit muddied up. And then, do we have one on the other side? We have the spare wheel there. Fuel tank, nice big fuel tank, of course. I like how the marker lights have been etched out in a way, you know, they've been painted over. I like that. This is very flimsy. This is very flimsy. And then what else do we have? Well, of course, we have the spare tyre there, and then turn it over, we have quite a muddy bottom, which is quite nice. And of course, what it is printed on there, or etched on there. Lots of mud on the tyre, really nice. And I quite like that, because if you were doing a diorama and you wanted to flip it over and you wanted some troops huddling behind it, you know, really nice to see all the mud on the bottom. Somehow you'd have to probably hide the Corgi and that, but no, really, really nice detail even on the bottom. And I love how Corgi does the drive shaft and everything else, unlike other manufacturers. So I really like that. Suspension, no, it doesn't have any. But yeah, fantastic. Fantastic to add to anybody's collection. And you know what I'm like by now with my wartime trucks and my soft skins. That is just perfect. So yeah, really glad I've got it. 10 out of 10 model, that is. So you know how much I value it. And that's going to be put on the shelf in the model room where the Dakar Rally collection once was. So let's go and do that now. And while I'm at it, we're going to search for these. They might be at the Toy Fest, the Toy Fair, should I say, Button Toy Fair, this coming Sunday. So who knows? We'll have a look, and hopefully they're not too dear, but yeah, nowadays they are. But who cares, you know, I'm glad I've got my favourite one out of the range, so yeah, really nice that. Really glad that I've got it. So join me on Diecast Days for the next episode. Remember, it's not all about the diecast, and tomorrow will be a better day. Check out the detail on the roof and the camouflage / mud. That's really good. And also this roof, this is just a tarpaulin. So there's a lot of the trucks that would ride in the convoy that wouldn't even have this roof on, and that's why you can see the ring mount there. When this was off, that would still be attached, of course, by these two here that are, you know, down the side of the cab. So the ring mount would, of course, still be there. Why you would have a ring mount and then the roof on, I honestly don't know. But Corgi did that for some reason. I didn't see that before. There's a certificate. Only 6,600 made, and that's 4,063. So very nice. So there we are in place. I can walk into the room and see it. And that is that gun truck that I was talking about. Got two of them anyway. That's a quad mount anti-aircraft.